we need to talk more about Meghan Markle. Why? Because we're fascinated about her? No. Because by talking about her, it helps us understand ourselves better and each other better. Because when we talk openly about race and ethnicity and perceptions of these things in a safe space like I'm trying to create with this channel, we understand ourselves and each other better. Okay? So I'm gonna look at a comment from a video I made that's getting a lot of feedback all of a sudden now that Meghan Markle has married into royalty. But I made a video called "Meghan Markle is Black and I Don't Care. Is that racist?" And if you haven't seen that video, basically it's me saying, is it racist for a white guy to not care that Meghan Markle apparently is half black or biracial? You know, and it's the concept that if someone has African background as an American and they're the first person to accomplish something, then it's a big deal. So when President Obama was elected, then it was said he was the first black president, though I always saw him as someone who was biracial. Halle Berry, the first black woman to win the Academy Award back in 2001, and no one's done it since then. The first black woman. No one says the first biracial woman of African ancestry. No one said that about President Obama. They were saying first black is what they were saying. And so for me though, as a white guy, I don't care either way. And I was saying, well, does that make me racist that I don't care, that I'm not excited that the first black person did something? Because ultimately they're the first biracial person to do something. But ultimately it doesn't matter to me. I'm completely apathetic on it. So that was the video, all right? So lots of comments are streaming in now, like on an hourly basis, new comments are coming in. And this is a new perspective that kind of caught me off guard. Someone had this to say, quote, speaking of Meghan Markle, they're saying, Meghan Markle is not black. She is a mixed woman of African and European ancestry. Stop imposing your racist one-drop rule on the black race, end quote. So I think that's a very challenging statement because, and obviously I want to make my stance clear on this. Neutral. I made a whole video. In that video, the whole point of the video is that I don't care. And the fact I don't care, the fact that I'm so far removed, does that make me racist for not caring at all? You know, so as far as me imposing this, it's more of me being the middleman in a state of confusion. Because from what I'm gathering, there are certain black Americans who will say, this is a great thing. She's a black woman. She's married into royalty. This is great. This has never been done before. Other people say, well, it has been done. But either way, some people see her as black because she is of African ancestry. Others see her as biracial. And then others like me don't care. We don't. Why? Because I'm an American and I don't care about British royalty. I don't care any more about that than I would care who the president of Zimbabwe is. I'm sure they don't even have a president. Or Taiwan, or whatever country we want to name. I'm so far removed, and that's probably stereotypical American of me, that I only care about what's happening in America. So be it. But the point of this video is to point out the irony in this. I think it's to point out that we all have different perspectives on this. Some of us, honestly, like me, I don't care, but I'm hosting the conversation on it. And now that I am, as the neutral guy, it's interesting that many of you watching this video and that watch my other ones, you're gonna say, this is a big deal. Don't take away from what's going on here. This is a black woman who's marrying into royalty in England. Don't take that away because she's the first black woman to do it. Others say, no, she's biracial and that's different. And so there's these, and then there's this comment saying that I personally am being racist for even hosting this conversation, because it goes back to the one drop rule, which if that's the case, then count me in, because my mom and my dad show African on both sides, right? So, but as the neutral host of this conversation, I just wanted to point that out, that it's interesting that people have such different perspectives on this, whether Meghan Markle is black, biracial, whether she's the first or not. And some will say if someone's biracial and they're of African ancestry, then that makes them the first black person to do that. Again, President Obama and Halle Berry are easy examples. The first black president, the first black actress to win the Academy Award, okay? And we're carrying this concept over to Meghan Markle. Again, let me be very clear on my perspective on it. I don't care. What I care about is hosting a YouTube channel in which we can openly discuss things because we're all a little bit confused is what I believe. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I don't have this conversation to divide people. I do it in an attempt to bring us together to understand. Maybe we can agree to disagree on some of these things. But I think it's an interesting conversation. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video and you wouldn't have watched the last one. So, now what do you have to say? I'm wondering where this conversation goes next. But it can only go there if you leave a comment here.